The sails are a bit random, they do come a little bit creased up. They seem to tighten, very tight roll and not protect them enough. But the creases do fall out a bit once in use and it's all rigged. Now, one of the main problems is with the kicker gooseneck compression strap. This is a very tight fit, metal going into plastic, and it needs to be eased in. So I normally put a bit of silicone grease and open and close it a few times. You have got this small fitting to open and close the compression strap, but I use this. This is the mast stub. A lot of people get this round the wrong way. This is little collar on the mast stub must be at the top of the kicker gooseneck. This can be quite a tight fit sometimes. You might need to rub it down slightly, but the compression strap, the kicker gooseneck and compression strap there, the mast stub goes through with the collar on the top. Right, next we're going to fit the mast crane. As you can see, the fitting is on top of the mast. This is a push fit into the hole at the top end. It can be quite a tight fit. So we're going to push this down. Now some of these, you might need to glue the mast crane into place because it does push down too far, and this is the swivel at the top end of the mast for the head of the sail to attach to. You don't want this to go down too far and then stop the masthead swivel swiveling. Next we're going to put the mast together. As you can see, the 5mm joiner is already into the top end of the mast. So now we're going to put it into the bottom end. Very good fit, but we are going to glue this. Mainly because, being that it's a unidirectional carbon, it is likely to split under a lot of pressure. So I'm just going to put a dab of glue on this and then insert it into the bottom end of the mast. The mast is fully constructed now. I'll put the mast stub in with the gooseneck kicker. I don't think it's necessary to actually glue the bottom end, and if you need to change the mast at a later stage, then you can easily detach it. So I'm just going to introduce the mainsail to the mast and main boom, so we're ready to attach. Firstly, we're going to attach the masthead fitting to the top of the sail and leave the knot quite loose because we're going to adjust it so we are reasonably close to the bottom end of the sail on the luff, so we can get the adjustment for the luff tension, but try and get the sail as low as possible, just leaving enough for the adjustment, just under a centimetre from the bottom end there. I've cut myself a length of cord. So firstly, tie the one end to the ring on the top of the kicker gooseneck, cut and seal the end, then through the eye of the sail, back through the fitting at the top end of the mast crane, back through the eye on top of the gooseneck kicker. You then got a hole just at the bottom where the main boom is attached. I've got a little fishing hook that is used for rigging fishing lines and stuff. Push that underneath the rubber ring, make a loop in your string around the hook and then put it through. Once you've got it through, make sure your rubber slider is in the centre position between the gooseneck kicker compression strut and the boom fitting. Give yourself a little bit of slack and then tie it onto the slider. Once done, cut your string and seal the end. I'm going to attach the other end of the foot of the sail, tie a bit of cord and then tie it on between the two rubber sliders. Once knotted, cut the string and once again seal the ends. As you can see, I've introduced the rig kit and sail to the yacht now. So all I've got to do now is attach the backstay, and then the main mast and sail is finished. We're now attaching the cord for the backstay to the end of the mast crane. Right, we're now ready to attach the backstay to the hook on the end. The hook we modified earlier, cut about 6 inches or so too long. Thread the bowsy around the hook and then back through the bowsy, and then I'm going to just tie to the end of the last eye on the bowsy. So now the main sail is now all attached, backstay on, we can now concentrate on the jib. We're now attaching the jib luff cord to the boom. I'll tie it around the counterbalance weight, the stainless steel wire that goes into the jib boom, a couple of knots and seal. Attach the leech end of the foot of the jib. So once again, get yourself a bit of cord, tie a knot onto the sail, between the two end sliders, tie the string to the boom, string and seal. Now we're going to do the luff tension on the jib. I've tied it to the eye on the top of the boom, through the eye, on the sail, through the eye again on the top of the boom. Once again, you get your threader ready, loop your cord and put it through. Don't want to be too far away because you've got the cord to put on for the jib attachment to the deck. So once again, just pull through, tie it off, cut and seal. Right, I've put a bowsy on the end of the luff line for the jib, also attached a piece of string to the head of the jib and put a bowsy on there, ready to attach to the fitting on top of the mast. So what we're going to do now is put the cord on the bottom end for the attaching the jib to the deck. Right, just cut myself a piece of string or cord to attach the jib to the deck, and I made myself a little loop. That will go around the eye on the deck once completed. Just done a couple of more knots just to make it secure. Once again, cut and seal. I'll then just now attach that to the jib. Don't only put one knot in hitch for the time being, and then we'll adjust it so we get the jib at the correct height. Before we start attaching this to the hull, I'm just going to super glue the end of the loop. This makes sure that it doesn't get caught on the individual threads, and then it keeps the end of the loop nice and stiff, easier for threading and putting over the eye. Right, we're now going to attach the jib. If we put the cord through the first eye, hook it onto the third eye, we then pull this in until we get the jib to about the correct height off the deck. Just a couple of centimetres from the deck. Once again, we just knot the cord. Once again, cut and seal the knot. We're now going to attach the head of the jib to the jib fitting on the mast. So once again, tie her off, go through the fitting and knot it to the bowsy. Making sure what you're looking for is the bowsy to be in the centre position. So you can loosen and tighten from that position. That's hopefully we're about there. The tension for the luff on the jib now. So once again, just tighten both of these up. We're now ready to attach the leech line. All these fittings or adjustments I will show you on my B rig later. You can put a ring in here and have an adjustment pulling the opposite direction. Also, at the moment you've got two adjustments for the luff tension on the jib, one at the top, one at the bottom. So you don't necessarily need both, but we're just using all the components that come in the box, so that's the way we're doing it at the moment. The last part to tie off is the leech line, to give the leech a bit of shape on the jib, and just tie it straight off, and once again cut and seal the cord. We are now all ready to do the sheeting on between the boat and the sails. I've got 2 bits of string now for the sheeting, exactly the same as the backstay, just tied in the loops and then super glued around the loop just to make it a little bit stiffer, and of course to stop it de-threading. We're all ready to do the sheeting. The radio equipment is on, the sail winch is all working. We've trimmed her into the middle so it gives you a little bit of adjustment later. So the sail servo, the stick is down, and we will now thread the sheeting through and then tie her off, and we will just set her to the centre position. Also make sure the eye on the deck for the sheeting which the sheeting goes through is in about the centre position, so she's sitting dead centre of the yacht. The sheeting's gone through straight from the fishing hook on the deck, through the eye, through the ring on the sail, on the main boom. I'm now going to thread it through the rubber slider. This is really here just to hold the bowsy up, and then we're going to go through the other eye, sorry, attach the bowsy through the other eye and then back to the bowsy. Right, we've now done the jib sheet. Once again, attached to the fishing hook, through the eye on the deck just in front of the hatch, through the forward of the 2 eye bolts for attaching the jib, through the fitting on the jib boom. This cord goes underneath the second of the sliders. That's just to keep the bowsy from slackening. So it goes up through the bowsy, through to the other jib fitting, and then back to the bowsy. Right, as you can see now, the sheeting is all completed, and we can put the sails in and out. Try and get it at right angles, or as close as possible to right angles on the yacht, so when you're going downwind you gain the advantage of the wind. We've got a little bit extra slot there, as I said, so we don't backwind the main. And your sheeting points on your booms, you can adjust these with this rubber slider and try and get it so you get the complete right angles. Once you're actually satisfied, you can actually glue those into position. Remember, don't over tighten the main boom. You don't want the winch straining and then getting problems with the winch at a later stage. We are now ready to put the yacht onto the water. Remember, you've got to put the hatch seal and the battery seal covers in place before you go on the water, but the yacht is now ready to introduce to the water. Right, I've put my graphite B rig on, exactly the same fittings apart from it's just a shorter mast. Right, just to show you some other slight hints and tips that you can get so you can get more out of your yacht. On the backstay we've put a fishing ring, and this is white Dyneema, slightly more flexible, so it's slightly easier to adjust. It's a 50-pound braking strain. Now with this you can actually pull down and to get your adjustment rather than pull up, which makes it slightly easier. Done exactly the same with the leech line for the jib. Once again, you've got a small fishing ring and you pull down to get the adjustment down the bottom end. Makes it slightly easier. Now we go up to the top end where the jib is attached to the mast, and we've got just one bowsy, and the top end of the jib is attached to the metal wire at the top end here. Now you can do that with cord and just have a small ring here, so you just got one adjustment, mainly because when you get down to the bottom end you've got your luff adjustment on the bottom end on the boom. Also, as you can see, I'm using white Dyneema, slightly more flexible for the sheeting. Once again, 50-pound braking strain, exactly the same setup. You've got the two loops here going through the same fittings and stuff, coming out to the bowsies. So really enough, that's exactly the same. But the other main point is that we're using cord for the rings on the mainsail. So we've got some cord there, which makes it slightly more flexible. Remember, you don't want it really tight. You want to try and get a matchstick in between the sail and the mast. That way you tend not to get so many creases up on your main. So really exactly the same with the B rig. Remember, you've got your slots, so you've got a gap between the main and the jib, slightly further out for your slot. This is so when you're going upwind it's nicely balanced. You don't want it too far in because your backwinds your main. So there's the setup. Remember, you've got your mast adjustment here, so if this is for your centre of effort adjustment, if you find the jib's doing too much work, the rig might be too far forward, so you want to just rake it back slightly, and the opposite way, if your jib's not doing enough, then you might just want to rake it further forward. So you've got total adjustment on for the mast rake on the deck. Once again, most of that is a point of taste. Just give yourself a little bit of foot flow in the sail, and also you've got the adjustment for the leech on the main here. Remember, it's easier to do it with a spanner than it is with the spike. And also, once again, just give yourself a little bit of flow in your jib, and the artificial shape in your jib is supplied by the leech line here. So just give it a little bit of shape on the jib as well. Apart from that, I hope you enjoy your Dragon Force RG65, and that's it from the Dragon's Den for the time being. I'm sure there'll be lots more information to come.